Alright, this video is about the day that I got shot. Usually when I tell this story, I say that I was shot on August 11th, 1998, but it was technically the 12th, seeing that it was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't remember exactly, but you'll see why in a little bit. Anyway, on August 11th, 1998, I woke up at my parents' house. It was a nice, sunny, warm summer day. My nephew and niece were in town visiting from Atlanta. At the time, I was working for the Chicago Trolley Company as a ticket salesman. I had gotten my entire family free tickets to ride around on the trolleys all day. I was off that day, but I didn't really want to do the family thing. It was also payday. So after going to the office to get my check, I went downtown to do a little shopping because I had to stay, fresh. Anyway, while shopping, I bumped into a lady friend of mine. We hung out together and eventually went back to my parents' house, knowing that my family would be gone all day. So after spending some time with my lady friend, we got showered and I went back down to my place of work because they were having a company party that day at a place called Whirly Ball. Whirly Ball is this place where you're in a bumper car with a scooper trying to throw a little ball into a hole in the middle of the basketball backboard. The owners of the company had bought out the bar for the employees. So we all ate, drank, played Whirly Ball, and had a great time. So at the end of the night, the majority of us were pretty drunk. There was this one female, coworker of mine that didn't drink, and she had told me that she lived in the Hyde Park neighborhood, which is pretty close to my neighborhood, which was in South Shore at the time, and that she would be able to drive me home. So when we got to her neighborhood, Hyde Park, she told me that she was really tired and asked me would I mind taking the bus the rest of the way home. Despite me being highly inebriated, I agreed, seeing that I had made this trip from there on many occasions. No big deal, I thought. So I get on the bus and I wind up getting off on 72nd and Jeffrey.
Here it is, 72nd and Jeffrey. I just got off the bus stop, came across the street here, and started walking down the street. My last steps. And that's the last stroll.
As I was walking down the street, I noticed a young guy just standing in the driveway. Even though I didn't recognize him, as I approached him, I remember nodding my head towards him as to say, "What's up?" And I kept walking. Shortly after I passed this dude, I heard several gunshots, and see gun barrel flashes from behind me.
When I was walking down the street, this is where the guy was standing that shot me. And I walked right past him and didn't think anything about it. Said what's up to him and kept it moving. This is the spot right here where I got shot. Coming up 14 years ago, August 11th, 1998.
I didn't feel anything, and when I turned around, I saw the guy running away down the alley through the chain link fence that I had just passed. I remember saying to myself, I wonder who he's shooting at, and continued walking. Shortly after that, my legs gave out on me, and I remember trying to catch myself on the fence. Assuming that I must have tripped on the account of me being drunk, I was still trying to get myself to stand upright. And that's when several people from the buildings that I had just passed, came out running. To this day, I still don't remember any of their faces, but I remember this one guy's voice saying, lay down, you've been shot." At that point, I began to panic and started screaming out my parents' address, saying, "Please don't let me die here on the street." So after a few minutes of me laying face down on the concrete, the ambulance finally shows up. And as they were putting me in, I remember seeing a group of people standing there, and I could make out two faces, only two faces. One of them was my father, and the other was a friend of mine named Kenny, who had later told me that he just happened to be driving home and saw the EMTs working on me and stopped and got out. At this point, I remembered coming in and out of consciousness, but one of the texts asking me was I allergic to anything, and me answering, being the smartass that I am, saying, "Yeah, bullets," and him actually laughing, saying to his partner that he knew that I was going to be all right. The rest was a blur. The next morning, I remember waking up hoping that it was all a dream, but quickly realizing that it wasn't, seeing that I was in an ER room, with a breathing pipe down my throat and hooked up to a bunch of wires. The first people that I remember seeing was my sister Lisa and a female friend, and no, not the lady friend that I mentioned earlier, named Rachel. I started waving my arms around, seeing that I couldn't speak due to the pipe being in my throat, and and them going to get one of the nurses and and a doctor's. So that was that, the day I got shot. It's funny to me because when people that I know ask me what happened, and seeing that everyone knew that I didn't really gang bang or sell drugs, the most common question that I get was, "Whose girl were you messing with?" I just laugh.